You see it goes in quite a bit, almost a good centimeter after the pebble edge right here. After it flushes in, it goes a centimeter further down in, so it goes pretty good. So this one has a lot of room to flush in as well. So here we go, we're gonna go ahead and start flushing the rest of them in, just like we did to our top right crankcase here. And then we're gonna still use the 8mm stud here. We're gonna go and give it a twist. Let it go down. Now it's actually hitting the table, so I'm going to do a little bit moving here so kind of clear the table a little bit. Okay, there we go. Pretty much it only grips where the threads is, doesn't grip where the bevel edge is. So there we go. You can see here. And I'm going to hold it down also with my knee here. There we go. So much easier to drive it with this. Just trying to make sure I do it straight. You don't want to start arrowing it differently. So I'm just doing 360 continuously. The full 360 circle continuous. Okay, that way I don't have to retract things. So this is going, should be level all the same here once we're done. Okay. Once it locks in there, it's almost like a torque wrench. It starts to look like it's spinning itself off. You don't want to take that chance, so you want to go ahead and secure it. Okay, we got this one now. Again, we thought this one was actually going to go a little bit further in, just a little bit more only, but actually, knowing this one right here, it probably looks like it's going to dip in the same amount, a centimeter in as well. There we go. We got our blue Loctite here. We're going to clean out surface area a little bit. See there, that's a good sign there that the Loctite is supposed to do its thing. Okay, there it goes. See, that actually has the hump there. There we go. Actually, it's not going in anymore. It's almost lifting the entire engine now. There we go. Again, it's aluminum. Don't force too much. This is level already, as you can see. Well, you can't see it from here. I'll show you from the top angle. You can see there, it's pretty much leveled. This one can go in a little bit more and it should finalize it. It's fairly harder to see actually. Okay. But again, we're trying to get all into that as much as we can. It's the dead ends. There we go. Yeah, this one you can see here, the Loctite now being squeezed out. But yeah, it seems like the Loctite almost lubricated to help it go in more. There we go. See, it's not going anymore for us without me flipping the engine over, because that's how strong it is now. Awesome. There we go. And then we can go and clean the rest of the thing. We don't want to get the Loctite anywhere but the thread area. There we go. It's going to be Loctite in there as well. Alright, so we got that there now. What we're going to do is we're going to go and put our dowel pins. Our dowel pins, again, we're going to save the 8mm one for our CVT cover, which I'm glad we found it. Okay, there should be 2 dowel pins for every first layer. Second, third, and fourth each will have 2. So I think we removed the dowel pin, so it's somewhere here. Skipping it, I got one here. You see this one takes a dowel pin as well as this one here, so we got 2 dowel pins on the same side. Okay, there we go. And it goes halfway like this and it comes out, and this is where it holds our gasket as well, which we have the gasket ready. We're going to also start prepping our other one. Well, I actually have plenty of those 8mm dowel pins, so that's not one thing we have to worry about. Here we go. Just we got some good quality ones too. So these ones right here. So let's go and put the new ones in there. All right, there we go. Pretty nice 10mm dowel pins. There we go. Beautiful. It's going in there. Gonna pull our stroker. You don't have to pull it. Just turn this, and eventually the fan will pull it out. See? You're gonna get to top dead center eventually. We're gonna go and start setting up our piston, as well as our cylinder housing. So let's go and get all those components out. That's pretty much our next one. There's the cylinder head. We'll get that next. After we put in the cylinder housing, and then we're gonna install the piston. So there we go. This is coming from the SSP-G 180cc power kit. We're going to put the rings in there as well. We're going to ring our pistons, which I'll show you how to clock a piston ring. It's not that hard. Okay, and then we're going to take out our piston here. And you really want to be careful. See this arrow here? It's pointing up, so we make sure that this is facing up. Even though it looks like the exhaust here is bigger, I'm not sure why it's pointing up for the exhaust being. I think it might be pointing maybe a code word for down, really, because this one looks like it's so much bigger. This should be the, actually I figure this will be the intake and this will be the exhaust, but we're just gonna follow it. The arrow right here is pointing up, and we're going with the number 63. It says this is 63 millimeter in diameter, so it's definitely much bigger than our 57 millimeter that was from our 150cc, and definitely bigger than our 61 millimeter that was from our 171cc. Did I say 171 previously? I said 150cc is 57 millimeter, and then 171cc was actually only 61 millimeter, but it had a housing of this right here, the housing sleeve. It had a 63 millimeter outer diameter, 62.7 actually to be specific, but this one is actually 65 in diameter sleeve, and we're fitting our 63 millimeter piston, so this is quite a big step. So all gasket and everything's gonna be unique, and then we got these unique little G clips here. Hopefully we can find the other one, and let's not insert it in there yet. Okay, maybe it's still in the box. I don't see it, but we'll figure it out. There's only one set in here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and clock our piston rings of our piston. It's much cooler now, so hopefully the video will record for at least more than 10 minutes, right? That we've been trying to since the hot sun earlier. And it is getting hot. I don't blame the system for wanting to shut itself down, but if I can handle it, I figure the electronics is a little bit more tolerable than I am. Okay, so we'll get that C-clip. If anything, we'll just open another C-clip pack. Okay, here we go. C-clips are pretty much universal. The wrist arm are pretty much all the same. It's just different lengths, but they're all the same diameter. Okay, here we go. It's nice. Again, it's made by RIK, which also makes Tata piston rings as well. You can have a total of 5 of them. Keep in mind we have a squiggly one, and then it's sandwiched in between 2 thin ones, and then we're going to have a medium-sized thickness, and then we're going to have a thick one. The thick one goes in the middle, which this is pretty much considered the middle right here, the middle ring. And then you have this right here is a bigger gap. It's made for 3 of the rings, which is going to be thin one, squiggly one, thin one. And then in the front of it, it's going to have the medium thick one. So that's pretty much, if you ever need to reference it, just go back to your original one. It's pretty much clocked the same way. And also you don't want to make sure that you have any gaps, because these are like big C-clips really, to be honest with you. There's a slit that breaks them apart so you can actually expand them. And you never want to gap wherever the piston wrist pin is. You keep that area right here away from any of the gaps. So if you're going to gap it this way, that way, or tilt it this way a little bit more, but never directly across. So we're going to avoid that, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and configure this one. Get this open first. Brand new. There we go, very beautiful rings. And there's a number to them as well. So if you see a number, that's going to be pretty much facing front of us, assuming this is the front where the numbers is as well. So let's look for the numbers. There it goes. I see 112 right here, or it's actually, yeah, 112 sort of. Okay, so that's probably the medium one, and this one's 212, and that's the second level one, thicker, the thickest one, medium thickness, thicker, and then there you go. It'll go in this order here. and we're going to put the numbers pretty much facing us. And the thin ones here doesn't have a number. I'm not sure if you saw the number previously. Let me go ahead and get the resolution in there. So you can see the numbers there. That's 112, the thick one. And then in the front of it is 112. I'm sorry, the thick one is 212. There you go. There you go. There you go. Good lighting. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and clock it. You can do it one at a time, is preferred. So you can come in from the back end or the front end, whichever we want. So let's go and go from the front and work our way back. Okay, so here we go. See how it sees the C-clip? Okay, there we go. And you don't want to worry about clocking it right now. You don't have to. Just go and get that in there. What's great about these is you can compress it by hand once you feed it into the skirt of your pretty much cylinder housing. So we got it there. Again, we're trying to avoid to see where this little cut off area is. We're trying to avoid where the wrist pins are. And again, we just don't want it to be near the wrist pin area. So what we're going to do is go ahead and turn it a little bit. It's going to knock itself loose eventually. So we're going to turn it right here to the edge of this right here. Okay, now we're going to go and put the squiggly one. The squiggly one, and by the way, the thin ones are universal size. They don't have a number to them. So you can put them either way. They're going to work just as fine. The same with the squiggly one too. There's no really side preference. If they have a number on them, you want the number to face forward with this number. Okay, so there we go. We got the squiggly one in there now. It's going to be a little tricky. Yeah, but they all should be precisely fit in there, so there's no room for actually gap. So it doesn't look like it fits, but it actually does fit. There you go. Just might have to get it compact a little bit in there because it will fit. And it also has to make room for a third one that's going to sandwich that squiggly one together. Okay. First of all, we got to get that squiggly one in first. Okay, so you can see where I said you can kind of clock the piston rings after you get this done, or we can go like that. There we go. You can kind of twirl it in, and it'll just start falling into the groove. Yeah, just whatever you do, just don't want to stretch or flex it too much. Nice. It's getting cooler now. The temperature is dropping. It's about 70. It was actually about good 100 degrees earlier. So now it looks like it's about dropping. And I think that's why our cameras is not giving us trouble. It's already past 10 minutes. So, all right, so we got that now. Let's go and get the other one in there, and then hopefully it'll level the other one as well. Let's get away from the first and second level. Go. It actually looked like it's trying to find its home right away on the second level, but it can't be there because that's where a thick one is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way to the back. Oh, try to get to the first one. Ah, there we go. See that? It helped actually to put that third one in there because it looks like it forced all the rest of them to. It looks like it's either forced the squiggly one to squeeze itself or straighten its act. There we go. Just that little area right there. And you never want the gaps to be parallel to each other. There can't be gaps with the same gap. So you definitely want to offset all of them. But just again, keep in mind, keep it away from the wrist pin area right here and right here. Just horizontally should be clearance of any gaps. Okay. So we'll worry about clocking it just right afterwards, after we get all the pins in there. Okay. So you can see this one's flushed all nicely here. There you go. Let me see. See if I can get the resolution. You can see how this piston here is all flushed nicely. See, no trace of it on the outside. And all of a sudden you got, see, and then all of a sudden you got the bump again. But if you go like this way, this will actually probably do the trick. Kind of like, you know, should seek its own level here. Again, you don't want to bend it, so it should just all fit. Just might have to twist it around a little bit. There we go. I think we feel that everything is all flush now. See that? There we go. So that's how we put that first in it. And we got the thick one here. And you can see the difference in the thickness, by the way. I didn't kind of show you. You can see right off the bat which one's thicker and which one's thinner. The gray one's actually medium thickness compared to the black one. So let me see if I can grab it this way, that way you can see it better. See that there? The gray one just shows a little bit more color, but it's actually thinner, medium thickness than the black one. See how thick that black one is? So that gray one's going to be on the outside, or in the front, forefront. Again, what this does is causes the compression to stay in, because this alone, it's gonna actually not have enough for it just to pretty much compress against the wall, because the wall is imperfect. So that's why these rings are going to fill in any of the missing, pretty much the gap area. It's smooth as it is, but it's still not like a perfect secure, and you don't want to be too perfect because you need to make sure that it can actually, you know, pump back and forth into the cylinder housing. So that's why these rings do their job. Okay, so we have the number facing us. Very important. You can see the number there. Now this is going on to the second level. Okay. You want to go and just get that on there first. So I break that little C a little bit. Stretch it, I mean. There we go. Stretch it over. It might want to fall right into the first slot, but don't let it. If you do happen to have it fall, just go and pick it back up from the front of his hands here and guide it back to the second level. There we go. See how I'm guiding it? Okay, I'm guiding his front. There we go. And then his tail should follow right into the second. Okay, see, that's much easier to put in. Again, we're going to clock it afterwards, get all the rings in there. And then the next trick will be to get it into the stroker and the housing at the same time. We're going to attach it to the stroker and then the housing. Okay. Oh, did I put the number? Yeah, the number's facing me. There it goes. See the number there? Let me get the resolution on there. I'm going to pop it back out so you can see the number. Push it from the bottom, you can see the number. See it's coming out? And that's it. Okay. So again, assuming that this arrow is actually made to point up and not point down, I'm thinking. But it could be wrong. Because I really believe that the bigger the gap should be actually for exhaust is smaller than the intake. Intake usually is up, but I might be wrong reverse wise. So we'll go ahead and leave it as is because we're going by the numbers here, and everything usually number. I don't think they'll misprint it and put the numbers upside down purposely. The same thing with all the tated one as well. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna clock it now. We're gonna find where the first thin gap is. Well, we can do as we go. I got the third, yeah, the pretty much the most closest front thin gap. I'm getting it. You can barely see what I'm doing, but see right there. See that right there? You gotta have a little bit of nails for this one. I'm just moving it right here in this corner. Okay, so opposite from that, I'm looking for the other break point. Okay, this break point here, it's all the way down here. So if the other one, how far is it? You want to take it almost opposite from each other if possible. So one's down here. Okay, one's down here. So the front one needs to go, move it here. Needs to go, going up now. Oh, wait. Getting close now. Okay. The front one. The front one needs to go right here. Okay. Close enough. It's right there. So one's over here in this corner. One's over here in this corner here. And the other one's way in the bottom in this corner. And that's how we pretty much clock our piston. And now we're going to find where the end of the squiggly one is. So you can see as well as I am here. But since they're already kind of bound, but there is a gap there, you can see where the break point is. But I can't seem to follow the squiggly one break point anywhere. I'm just hoping it doesn't fall horizontal to the piston ring. Yeah, I can't seem to see it yet. Yeah, you're looking at it with me. Okay. Wow, it's pretty good. Alright. We'll come back to the squiggly one. Let's go ahead and get our medium thickness here. Our medium thick one is going from the very top which is good. It's one right here sitting on the very top. That means our medium thick one, our thick one is sitting on the very top. That means our medium thick one, which is the front, should go on the very bottom. So we'll put that on the very bottom right there. See, there we go, the very bottom. We'll assume that actually the very top, because it's actually this way again. But anyway, they're opposite side from each other, and that's what we really want. Now let's go back and look for that squiggly break point. That squiggly one did have a break point, but it seems so perfectly jointed we can't even see it. Okay. I'm correcting any gaps. All right. Not sure that is the break point. It doesn't look like it. Wow. Well, as long as it doesn't really offset any of the other ones, or parallel to it, let's say. It's offset, which is good. So I can't seem to notice it. So we'll just leave it for right now like that. All right, now it's time to go ahead and pretty much bring our actual cylinder unit out. This is pretty much a cylinder unit. The cylinder housing itself, you can see here, its diameter is 65 millimeters right here from across. I'm sorry, yeah, 65 millimeters right here. So it's going to fit the 63 millimeters, and with the extra ring here, it's going to take it in there more. 63 millimeters, I'm sorry. So 63 millimeters. There we go. What you want to do is retract it. And you only would see how this has a little lip there. You can see it where it kind of flares, and that's for you to easily compress your ring and have it go in there, because on this side it might not have that lip. Even though this seems like a little slash lip, it's not. It's actually still flush flat. It's actually not, there's not a lip here like a funnel for you to actually compress your ring, so it's gonna catch on it. So you can't really, if you can make it work, you could put it in the front, but it's going to be harder for you. It's a challenge because this is actually not flush. It's just part of the metal or the casting mold design. So it's not really indent in there. It's not really inclined as it looks like, but it's not. You can see there maybe. See? It's not really inclined. See, it's actually, my finger can tell if it's going down, but it's not. It's just straight cut. Straight edge cut. Okay, so this is where it actually is the best way to feed it in, just from the back. Okay, once we feed it in, we can turn it. All right, so here we go. We're gonna get the up arrow facing up and the 63 facing down. So this is pretty much where our timing chain is gonna be riding on. And so when it goes in, it's gonna go in this side like this right here. See it? It's gonna go in like that. Let me get the resolution on this better. There we go. It's gonna go in like this. We'll do a dry fit right now for you. And these are 57 millimeter spacing right here from here to here. 57 millimeter. That's why you can bore this to a good, it's 57 millimeter. You can bore this even more to about 67 millimeters. Now you're saying, how can you get 67 millimeters from 57 millimeter spacing? Well, what it is the circle part. It's actually not the circle part. It actually comes out like this right here. So well, you're not boring this, you're boring this, I apologize. So you can see here, there's still some slack here. So when you bore it, if you were to take this to a 232 cc, just like a Tata engine, you can bore this. It'll be a very thin edge, unfortunately, but you can bore this 57 millimeter spacing and further right there. So it'll take a circle all in between the gap. You just want to make sure stay away from the oil port. You don't want to skin this too much where oil will break out. So you can bore it even more right here to a good, pretty much 67 millimeter. I'm sorry, yeah, 67 millimeter, and you got 232. Of course, you'll have to change the whole head system as well, but that's a different project we'll probably get to. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and try to do a dry fit. We're gonna go ahead and try to fit this in here, and we got our dowel pins already, and we're gonna put our gasket right afterwards. There we go. So this is how it'll go. There you go, and then you want to lift up your chain guide. Again, it's a good idea to go and put the tie strap soon when you're about to feed this back and forth, because the tie strap makes the job much easier. So let's go ahead and do that. And get a tie strap. So all you need is one small little tool. This tie strap here does wonders. See, there we go. And you want to make sure the tie strap is already gripped on to the crankshaft. So there we go. Just give it a little nice turn. That way you can feed it much easier into your cylinder housing. See that right there? Unless you have very thin fingers and flexible fingers, but most of us don't, so especially me anyway. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, first of all, I gotta get out of this. There you go, see how and then you can go and push up on it on the cam chain guide there. Go up, feed your stroker. Okay. See, oh, I forgot we have our studs here. I was wondering what's holding it. Okay, these ones are supposed to secure the cylinder housing. So there you go. Okay, we're gonna lift up our stroker. That way you can see it goes right in. Okay, it's coming together. I'll show you from the top here. It's a brand new fit, so it's gonna be a little bit of a squeeze. Oh, has to be perfect. There we go. Again, it's a very tight fit. I'm going to try to get the camera angle from this side, that way you can see what it does. Alright. See there, we got a little bit ways to go. Make sure nothing's catching onto it. There we go. Catching onto it. Alright, the leg, try to alright, there we go. Let's see. Get a better angle for you. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and make sure nothing interfering. Doing a dry fit here. Very tight fit. So let's go and see what's going on. You want to actually have a good secure fit like this. You see, now we got almost there. Got the skirt going in. There you go, the stroker's out there. We're just doing a dry fit first. Here the camshaft is coming. Very tight. Surprise. Okay. Let's get in there more. Wow. Surprise is so tight. Trying to see what else might be holding it. Just trying to squeeze a stud. Maybe the stud is not straight enough for it, but the stud seems to be fine. This is a very tight fit. I'm surprised I'll be able to get it back out. There we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and see why is this such a tight fit. Made for it, but it's very, very tight. Surprised how tight it is. You can get in there. Try and reverse and see. Got everything right. Okay. Just want to make sure. All right, so very tight fit. Let me go ahead and work on it for a second. Okay, it seems like I can get it in there. It's a very secure, tight fit, meaning you probably will have to use a mallet, and getting it off will be a different story. You're gonna have to try to get a leverage here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pretty much, I think we're gonna be able to fit it in with a dry fit like this. So I don't want to knock it in anymore. If you notice here, if I take a mallet to it, you can see it's actually going in already halfway. And so that means the skirt, which we call this the cylinder housing sleeve, is made for this, but it's just a very, very tight fit. It's not something that can actually come off just like our 150cc. So I'm taking a soft mallet here and we're just tumping it in. If you can see, as I'm tumping it, it goes in more and more. So, 'cause that's what I'm finding out now, that it actually is just a really secure fit. Okay, be careful you don't want to hammer your cam chain. I also tucked the chain back in here because we won't need it yet. I want to try getting there as much as I can to feel that we can go ahead and start putting the piston as well as the housing on there, because once we put in our cylinder gasket, we definitely don't want to bring it back out. Okay, so it looks like it's going to work. We just got like an inch more to go, and we want to make sure our chain guide, which is riding right here, we want to make sure it squeezes in as well onto this as well. So that's good. So here we go. Because this chain guide also needs to be able to get in there as well. So you can see here, it's going to need to flex this in, or it just flexes over there. And we're going to need to make sure that it actually fits in. So let's go and take it apart, and let's go ahead and put all our components in there, and we're going to go ahead and, I guess, secure it. So we're going to have to tap it back out now because it's definitely heavy. So here we go. This 150cc is very snug fit. Again, these are both from it. It's left and right case, so we didn't do any kind of modifying. So here we go. We're going to use a mallet.